Hi everyone, Mrs. Kovani here. I'm going to walk you through this PowerPoint that talks about the eye and how the eye takes in light and how we interpret it as color in our brains. A couple of things to keep in mind today. You're going to need headphones. Hopefully you have them, and a computer. If you're watching me, I suppose that you have one. And then you're going to need Patrick with you as well. If you're missing any one of those tools, stop yourself right now and see if you can go find them to get the work done today. Make sure as you watch this video today that you pause when you're asked to pause and that you follow the instructions that I've told you or that are on the screen. And then know that you can rewatch any section that doesn't make sense again and again until it finally does make sense. Today with our eye and brain work, it's going to mostly be independent. If you have questions, you can ask the people at your table, but we're not going to switch groups and work with others. We're mostly going to be working by ourselves today or working with the people at our table. And finally, make sure that you're good for your sub that's leaving the class. Have pride in yourself, pride in your school, and even though I'm gone, let's try and learn a lot. So if you turn to page 2, you have your warm-up for today. Our learning target is to explain how the eye and the brain work to see color. And your warm-up is to imagine that you're looking at a screen, whether it's a computer or a television. And for some reason, as you're looking at that screen, you're wearing green sunglasses, which I'm sure we've all experienced before, right? And what I want you to talk about in your warm-up space is how that cyan image that you're seeing on the screen is going to look to you as you wear your green glasses. We know that if you're not wearing green glasses, it's going to look light blue to you on the screen. But I want you to think about what you learned last time with primary and secondary colors of light and how filters work because you're wearing sunglasses, and explain how the cyan image on the screen appears to your eyes if you're wearing green glasses. Pause the video right now and write up your answer. All right, hopefully you've paused and you've written down your answer on page 2. Now we're going to go over what you would have seen. Here I have a person that's wearing green sunglasses and they're looking at a thing that's on the screen that's cyan. It was the best image that I could find of something that's cyan that might be on television. So first of all, you have to remember that televisions and any screen, whether it's a computer, projector, a phone, all operate using RGB, those 3 primary colors of light that can kind of trick our brain into seeing every image that's on the screen. Since those are the primary colors and those are the only color pixels that are on this television screen, that means that cyan's not a part of it. Cyan instead is a secondary color that's composed of green and blue. So green and blue are being used to project that image of the cyan character. Finally, you're wearing green sunglasses, so that's only going to let the green light go through. The blue light's actually going to be filtered out. So even though the image that's on the screen is cyan, only the green light's going to get through your green sunglasses, and the image on the screen is going to look green to you instead of cyan because it's filtering out the blue. If you need to, pause and rewatch that section so that it makes sense to you. What I'm going to have you do next is you're going to pause the video and you're going to go to the website that's listed on there. I think that link should work perfectly as written. Instead of going to the single bulb color vision that we did last time, you're going to click on where it says RGB bulbs, and that's going to pull up kind of like what we did with the big spotlights, only it's going to take it a step further because you can change the amounts of red, green, and blue that are being shown to you. I'd like you to play with this for 5 minutes or so and try and make different colors like orange or purple or brown, because we know that red, green, and blue, for our eyes at least, can be mixed together to make every color that's viewable on a screen like a television or a phone. So really challenge yourselves to think about how combinations of these 3 things can make every other secondary color that's out there. Like I said, go ahead and pause the video, exit away from, make a new tab, and go to the website that's listed on there and play with the RGB bulbs for a second. You're going to be taking a quiz here in just a moment. I want to make sure that you do know the primary and the secondary colors of light. Red, green, and blue are the primaries. When you overlap them in equal amounts, you get magenta, cyan, and yellow. Those are the true secondary colors because they're made of equal combinations of the primaries. And then, of course, when you take all 3, red, green, and blue, and then you mix them together, you get white, which is as bright as we can go. Remember that if I want things to be darker, I actually have to take away light because light's additive. When I add light together, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter until it gets to white. As I said, I want you to take a few minutes here, 5 minutes or so, and pause the video and practice the color combinations because you're going to be taking a quiz on Schoology. That's going to test your knowledge of this. It's going to ask explicitly things like, what does red and blue make? And you're going to say magenta. So I want to make sure that you take the time that you need to prepare for that quiz. So go ahead and pause the video right now. As I said, now you're going to pause again, navigate to Schoology, and you're going to take a quiz. The quiz is called Primary and Secondary Colors of Light. It should be available to you. If there's any kind of glitches that happen with the quiz, save them for yourselves and then write down what your question was or what the issue was. And you can either email me or we can talk about it when I come back next week on Thursday. Of course, you're welcome to come in advisory too if you have questions and you want to go over anything that was on your quiz. Let's pause the video right now and navigate to Schoology to take that quiz. I hope it's a success for you. All right, we're finally into the meat of our lesson for today, which is about the eye and the brain. Remember that this is a truly enriched concept, so if you have friends that are on A-Day in either my class or Mr. Moberg's class, they won't be studying the eye and the brain. This is just a different concept that we're going to be working on. There are a few questions that show up on your test on Monday, November 21st that will be about the eye and brain, so your work in this web quest that you're going to be doing today is important, and it will show up again. So here we go. We're going to start with watching a quick Vsauce video called Is Your Red the Same as My Red? There's a link on the screen that you can use to navigate to that video. I would say that for this video, the first 2 minutes and 15 seconds are directly relative to what you guys are going to be studying. Although the video is longer, it's about 7 minutes long. You're more than welcome to watch it beyond that 2 minute and 15 minute mark. I'm sorry, 2 minutes and 15 second mark. But if you want to stop at 2 minutes and 15 seconds, turn to your neighbor at your table and talk about the video. That's a good idea to really kind of let this sink in. His message really goes on to the idea that we're kind of alone in our own brain. There's no way to truly test how the eye is taking in that information and interpreting in your brain. The way that you see a particular color might be different than the way that your neighbor sees a particular color. It's kind of mind-bending, no pun intended. But again, 2 minutes and 15 seconds is where I want you to watch to. If you want to watch beyond that, just because you're interested and he is an interesting individual, please feel free. Go ahead and pause the video right now, navigate to the site, and watch that Vsauce video. All right. Here we are for today. Today your goal is to work through pages 34, 35, and 36. That'll be your homework if you don't finish it in class. It's a very open-ended web quest, so there's questions that you're going to look at. I've listed 2 sites at the top of the page of 34 that are jumping off points, but you are going to have to go to different websites beyond those 2 to answer all the questions that are listed. In fact, you might navigate to those sites that I've identified and feel like there might be a better resource out there. So if, as you do go off to different websites, make sure that you're using credible sites. You might want to double check your information that you're gathering. I would avoid Wikipedia on these, even though they do have comprehensive sites about the eye and the brain. Things get a little complex and it might be hard to tease out the information that you actually need for your web quest. Instead, I would try searching for things about the eye and the brain with the words for kids afterwards, because it's going to give you information that's going to make a little bit more sense if you navigate to those for kids websites. Remember that you don't need to just read about the eye and the brain. That might work best for some individuals, but sometimes hearing things in videos is better. Brain Pop, for example, has a really good video about the eye and the brain. If you go to their website, remember that their password and username, their username is Edina PS, and their password is Edina. I would really recommend starting off there, especially if you find the work that you're searching for a little daunting. Brain Pop can give you a lot of the answers that you're going to need on 34, 35, and 36. I've also put a resource on Schoology in the readings and documents folder. It's called CK12 Vision and Eye. It's got some information too, especially when diagramming out the eye, that you can use as a jumping off place as well. Again, you're just going to be searching on multiple sites. Everywhere on the web has the information that you're looking for. It's just a matter of searching the right thing. So it's going to test your knowledge of how you can navigate the web. But go ahead, pause our video right now, work on 34, 35, and 36. There is more information that follows this point. So if you finish 34, 35, and 36, you're going to want to come back to this video to continue working through the rest. I do have more information on this video after you pause it and you start working on your web quest. All right, if you've come back to us, this means that you have some extra time in class. I found an interesting video here that links together color and perception with astronomy. It's really interesting. It's about 10 minutes long. Go ahead and click to this website that's listed. I highly recommend watching this if you have extra time that you've finished 34, 35, and 36. It's got very interesting I would say enriched information on it, especially if you're interested in astronomy. I would recommend watching this video. It's not required. This is for students who have extra time available in class. If you're still with me, we have even more time. There is a Bill Nye video that you can watch here on Light and Color. Of course, Bill Nye is a little elementary, but it's sort of fun to watch, especially the rainbow kid that's in this episode. It's about 20 minutes long. Again, it's not a requirement to watch this, but if you've finished the Eye in the Brain web quest and you have a significant amount of time, this would be a good thing to occupy your time as you're sitting there and waiting for the rest of the class to expire. We're almost to the end of our time here. I wanted to recap things. Today, what you should have accomplished in class was a warm-up on page 2. There's a web quest that you would have completed on pages 34, 35, and 36. In our next class, you're going to have a similar sort of web experience where I have a screencast that you're going to watch for the lesson. You'll want to make sure that you bring headphones with you, that you have a computer, you bring Patrick, and then of course if you have extra homework, to bring that as well, because you can use any extra time as study beyond the time that we have. Your test is going to be on Monday, November 21st. That's the Monday before Thanksgiving break. It's not next week on Monday. It's the Monday that follows that. I know that you may have questions that weren't answered in class. Please feel free to email me at any time if you do have questions. You're also welcome to come and find me before or after school. I will be back on Monday. Of course, I'll be gone again on Tuesday. I'm going to have win time sessions next week on Wednesday and Thursday for recapturing things. If you were confused or if you had a lot of questions, you might consider signing up for one of those win times as well. I hope that you had a good lesson, that you behaved yourselves, and we will regather together next week on Thursday. Have a great day.